Happy Friday, April 24th, everyone. This is a quick video to show you all the news that we talked about on last night's episode. Before going ahead, let me tell you real quickly that Red Dead Redemption 2 is heading to Xbox Game Pass on May 7th. So if you have not played this game yet, you'll have no excuse now. Well, provided you have an Xbox and a Game Pass subscription. Jokes aside, this game is a masterpiece. So regardless of which platform you're playing on, make sure you give the game a shot. Don't forget, GTA 5 will leave the service on May 7th. So if you have not played this game yet, or you're currently playing it right now but you want to finish it, then you'll have time up until it leaves the service to actually purchase it at a 20% discount. Also, Microsoft announced a Cyberpunk 2077 Xbox One X limited edition console. It will be coming out this June. It does look neat. Last, but definitely not least, there was an Xbox Series X logo that leaked online. A Microsoft spokesperson talked to Game Radar and told that that's just a patent, like many others. So it might just not be indicative of the final product or the final look of the product. So, long story short, that might not be the logo you'll see on the Xbox Series X. And without further ado, here's the news we talked about last night.
I'm gonna start with this. This is basically news from directly from the source, Square Enix. On Tuesday the 21st of April, so just a few days ago, they've announced that they have shipped and sold over 3.5 million copies of Final Fantasy VII Remake worldwide in 3 days.
I mean, I've got to say, I know that's a lot, but I'm not remotely surprised.
Oh,
this game has such a following. Like, even now, before they did the remake, people have been begging for a remake for, I don't even know how long. Didn't they do a tech demo? Was it the PS3?
Been a long time. Has any of you guys played the remake?
I have not.
I didn't, but I can say that my thoughts right now goes to those poor people who bought the porting of the original one, which exists even as of now. It still is, for instance, on the Nintendo shop of the Switch.
Yeah.
So think about it. If somebody doesn't know about the remake and he buys the original one at full price.
Well, I mean, of course.
Yeah.
Although it has to be said, if you only have a Switch, that's the only version you can play.
That's it. I was thinking exactly of myself.
There is no way. There is no way.
You weren't talking about the public, you were talking about you.
It was talking about himself, basically.
Well, one thing that came as a surprise to me, not the whole game that was originally released. It's only a part of it.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It'll be divided into episodes, apparently.
Didn't they do that with, was it 13 they did that with?
I honestly don't know how I feel about that. I mean, are we getting to... And this is, by the way, I'm gonna go off a tangent, because this, by the way, is something that Phil Spencer himself said about Game Pass. Are we getting into the Netflix of games, as in literally video games being released in episodes?
Yeah. Well, didn't Telltale do that with all the Walking Deads and stuff? Didn't they do that?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, imagine something Final Fantasy, right? Something triple A, right, with big production, big graphics, big storyline in episode. I don't know how I feel about it.
I'm not a fan of games being released like that. It's because if you really love a game, I know it will create the hype of wanting to play that next episode, but I'd just be so annoyed not being able to play the episode.
Right.
Like, not even the episode, the game, just the game in general.
What were we saying, Claudio?
Yeah, I'm almost afraid to venture myself into this kind of topic, but it's the bigger philosophical question of, are we still even buying games, or are we actually just paying for accessing them? Like, is it this whole industry turning into a sort of swimming pool, gym kind of business that you pay your access to, use certain tools, but you don't really possess them?
Yeah.
Well, with
much bigger philosophical question.
With streaming, with game streaming, that's where we're gonna head to. Obviously, with the Game Pass model from Microsoft, it's kind of like that, as in you can play those games. I'm not against the model, because I'm gonna say I've got Game Pass, and obviously every Microsoft exclusive, regardless when it was launched, right? Even on day one, it will be there forever. then third-party games are gonna rotate. Like for example, right now we got some bangers like The Witcher in there. I don't know how long it's gonna be kept in there. At some point they're gonna take it off, but I'm not completely against this kind of attitude, because you end up playing games that you wouldn't have bought. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
Right, I've
You're
been
more
playing,
likely to try things.
Yeah, I've been playing Untitled Goose Game with my girlfriend, and I wouldn't have bought that game. I'm gonna be honest, I wouldn't have bought that game, but
You don't say.
I have to say it's a great game, and it's also available for the Switch. So if you have a shot, it's actually really good. I have to say.
Payoff.
But anyway, moving off of this Final Fantasy VII, which I don't have either, Rockstar. Now, this has been reported by IGN as well as Kotaku. So Kotaku and Jason Schreier, and I'm gonna kind of like give it up to them, because the guy's been fighting the crunching problem which is in the game industry for a very long time, right? He's reported crunching many times. When there's a game in its final development stages, companies will then force their employees to really work for a long hour shifts. I've read something like 60 hours per week, no days off, stuff like that, which sounds absolutely crazy and unhealthy on top of crazy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's horrendous.
Yeah.
So
It's ridiculous.
according to this new article from IGN and Kotaku, someone at Rockstar said that there's been some changes in Rockstars in the chain. Namely, Dan Houser, one of the founders, actually leaving the company not too long ago, and apparently this person saying that the changes were for the better, and now the company's working a little bit better and paying more attention to avoid crunching and maybe plan a little bit more ahead and work smarter. Now the big news also about this is that probably unwillingly, I don't know, but probably unwillingly, this person has confirmed that there's a GTA, obviously a GTA 6 in the works. This is probably internet worst kept secret. We obviously knew that was happening, but now this is confirmed. And the curious thing is that apparently, in order to avoid crunching, this will be a moderately sized release. Which obviously by Rockstar standards will still be a large game. Remember, Rockstar is a huge studio. They've got studios in the UK, in Vancouver, in California, and whenever they work onto a project, their whole thing is working on that project, building assets and stuff. So still, we're probably talking about a very large game. Does this mean we're going to get episodes of this game?
Or a load of DLC that add on to the game. Like a load.
Now, I don't particularly mind a load of DLC being added on the end. I mean, CD Projekt Red did something kind of similar, but I want it, if it's going to happen, I'd like it the way that they did it with The Witcher 3. Like, there's a bunch of extra stuff that's coming. Thank you for supporting the game. It's all free. Like, you've already paid for your game. If you're going to pay for anything else, it's going to be like 10, 20, even 30 hours of expansion stuff. Not, Chapter 2 is $10.99.
I have to say, though, you brought to the case a brilliant example here with CD Projekt Red and The Witcher. Those guys, they cram a lot of qualities into their games for a great price, namely those 2 DLCs. I think one of them was like 40 extra hours, basically adding a new region of the game.
They're huge. They're huge.
It was about 20 quid, and it was the size. It was bigger than a lot of other games I've played.
Yeah, and I mean, I bought it for I think it was like 5 quid on sale. It's just it's
all about them savings.
Definitely not an Electronic Arts game. No. By the way, greetings EA, we love you.
We love you EA. The crazy thing about GTA, GTA 5 to be specific, is that it's still, we're talking about a 6-year-old game still topping off the charts. It's still sold. It's always in the top 10 every, month. It's just crazy. That game is a golden cow, literally, for Rockstar.
That used to be my ritual before bed. I think I've already mentioned that on the podcast. I used to play that game before bed when I was a kid, and I couldn't get to sleep because I'd just gone round in a tank or something, just destroying everything.
Oh well.
Every so often I'll be kind of going through YouTube and see that GTA Online has come up with like a new thing. Like they'll just random. It's like, oh yeah, now we've got flying cars. And you're like,
that's right.
Yeah, you know what? Fine.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, cool.
I'll take it.
You do you.
Anywho, let's end up this piece of news. We've got some news from Nintendo, well, specifically about the e-sale.
So, first of all, a piece of tip here. In case you didn't have yet e-Nintendo shop account US, just do it. Prices there are simply just always lower. Yeah. And in this particular beautiful season of spring, well, beautiful I said from hay fever, there is, what do you know? There is a Capcom spring sale. There it is. You should be able to see it right now. And, Capcom. Do I even need to say that you can get Street Fighter, Devil May Cry, Onimusha, Resident Evil, just so many good titles for, I think, half of their price.
Wow.
This, of course, unless you're stuck in the Netherlands as I am and you have just the e-Nintendo shop NL, which doesn't really offer much right now. But do yourself a favor, get an American account. Yeah. Just download everything, guys. For the record, also Phoenix Wright. I am personally a big fan of it. I studied law. You wouldn't guess it, but very good.
No, I agree with you. I mean, you've got some bangers in there. I mean, Resident Evil 4, guys. Resident Evil 4. We just talked about it last week, about a potential remake. But Resident Evil 4.
That's good. That's really good.
I mean, there's always time to talk about Resident Evil 4, isn't there?
And that was it, ladies and gentlemen. We will post the remainder of the show here on our YouTube channel this coming Sunday, which is the 26th of April. Let me thank you all for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget, subscribe and make sure you click on the little bell icon to be notified whenever we post new content. We host our show live here on YouTube as well as Twitch every Thursday at 6 p.m. UK time. Next episode will still be about next generation consoles, but this time is PlayStation 5's turn. Until then, have a great Friday evening.